And what you're about to see is what advocates of urban agriculture believe is a beginning to changing the eating habits and eventually the lives of those who are poor, live in the inner city, and have little access to fresh food.
This community has been designated by the city council as a food desert. A place that doesn't have supermarkets, it doesn't have fresh food, doesn't have a lot of good food options for the community. All that stuff, I ain't breaking off something.
The Reverend Robert Ennis Jackson runs a food pantry called the Brooklyn Rescue Mission, along with his wife, Reverend Devaney Jackson, here in a poor inner city neighborhood called Bedford-Stuyvesant.
It has a 35% poverty rate. So you have people who are using the food pantries. But in using the food pantries had options of food that was salty, sugary, processed. When we first started giving out food, some of the food had longer shelf life. So they say, well, the food is still good, but it has been expired. They were giving us big bags of potato chips, big bags of pork skins. So we decided to try to do something a little different.
So, in the back of their small food pantry, sandwiched between two row houses, the Jacksons transformed this rundown, abandoned lot into a vibrant farm, bursting with flowers and vegetables, smack dab in the middle of the city. That was 3 years ago. Now, what was wasteland is producing healthy food 8 months a year. At its height, 14,000 pounds of food were harvested from this little 5,000 square foot farm. Rain and cool weather will dampen this year's yield, but not Reverend Jackson's spirit.
When we started to grow the food, we started to set up the situation so that the garden would look good. The neighbors were looking at us like, what are you doing? You know, it's like, you know, we know you're ministers, but, you know, aren't you supposed to be preaching? What are you doing? So we're going to use the food and we're going to use the soil to help people's lives.
You know, and she learned me how to cook ever since I was a 7 or 8 years old child.
He know how to cook. And now his might be peas and rice.
Tuesday is Senior Citizens Day at the farm. It's become a gathering place to chew the fat.
As long as it's a basketball or something to eat, that's what they like. But when it comes down to the responsibility of working.
This day, it was about the lack of respect they felt from the younger generations. But, like it often does, the discussion turned to food and the fresh produce they get for free each week from the farm.
The eggplant that I got here last week, I cooked it with the skin on and I enjoyed so much.
But if I would go to the pantry, I wouldn't get that. I wouldn't get that.
A lot of them don't give out fresh food.
And we had a proper logistics because the lady was there experimenting for us, and she gave us the paper, and we go through it to try it out.
Oh, with the cooking demo?
Yeah.
That was last week?
Yeah, no, 2 weeks ago.
Y'all take me a piece of chicken, just throw in the flour and just throw in there. I ain't thinking nothing about no seasoning or nothing. But
I live by myself, and I do all the cooking. It's like sometimes we be sitting down watching TV, and I want to lay there and watch TV, but I have to get up and cook.
Seeing the food with the tomatoes and stuff, saying, can I have it? You know, I know what to do with it. They even actually take advantage of the new recipes that the chefs and people come do for them. So they get a lot of the benefits. The younger people have to be taught how to cook the fresh food. That's a new project because they see the food now, they want the food, but they have to ask the famous question, what do I do with this? How does this get cooked? Do you put this in the salad or do you saute it? Do you have to boil it? And they're learning how to cook new food. Because they're not going to McDonald's, they're not going to Burger King. They're actually picking something that's come from the ground.
It's been interesting because we put a lot of hard work into it. And to see it grow, it's like, wow, I can actually do that. I can actually grow food. It's like, oh, I never did that before.
Natalia Walker is spending her summer composting, planting, pruning, harvesting, and handing out food at the pantry. And she's learning about food rarely available to her.
I never tasted eggplant before. I never tasted beef before either. There's not a lot of fresh places we can get fresh fruits and vegetables in Bed-Stuy. Like, we only have one supermarket in this whole neighborhood, and and we have one food stand, but they charge high prices, so some of the families can't really afford to have fruits and vegetables in this neighborhood. So then that leaves a lot of unhealthy eating.
Co-worker Sean Jacobs couldn't believe his eyes when he first saw the farm.
I never seen a farm in Bedford-Stuyvesant. I know there's a lot upstate New York like Tivoli and Albany, but I never knew there was one in Bedford-Stuyvesant. And it's right, I don't even live that far, I live like 10 blocks away. I was shocked when I first seen it, so I know a lot of other people know. When they first reaction is like, wow, this is really big. To see the greenhouse, a tree, a fig tree, a lot of different tomatoes and green peppers, they'd be very surprised.
Jacobs has surprised himself, too.
Like, you'll come here, try to learn one thing, and you learn something else. I learned about a whole lot of fruits and vegetables. Every lunch, like, I would come here and eat Chinese food, but like, I started to watch him, and he was like, Sean, you want some of this to add? Like broccoli. He just pick it straight off, and let me wash it. And I'm like, don't you gotta cook it? He's like, nah, you can eat this raw. I'm like, all right. And I tried it. After a while, like, I just started like eating a lot healthier. It really changed my lifestyle.
People who get food from this farm, they know where it comes from. They know that we don't put any pesticides or anything to it. And they know that it's fresh. And it hasn't been sort of sitting on the shelf for the past 3 months.
Maggie Kung is starting at the Culinary Institute of America next year. So she wanted a summer job where she could work with food without leaving the city.
I actually have this like full-grown scale garden, or rather it's a farm, really. In Brooklyn, it's surprising, and it's all at the same time it's really amazing to have all of this here.
When you plant something and you see like fruits and vegetables really coming about from it, you get really happy knowing that you're going to give a family food to eat. And you grown it from a little seed.
The food harvested here goes right back into the community. Because of requests from neighbors, they sell some of their produce at a local farmer's market on Saturdays. The rest goes to the people picking up bags of food from the pantry.
Take your food bag, zucchini.
Yeah.
You got corn in there and fruit.
They use it to supplement the usual canned goods and other donated food the pantry receives. The senior council always gets first pick of that week's crop.
Does anybody want any broccoli? You want broccoli? Hold on, I'll get some.
Like most of the seniors here, Eustace Alexander and Mary Chapman are most excited about the fresh-picked produce.
Got some collard greens, whereas at other pantries you don't get through that. This is for the body. Sometimes if you have sugar or you have high blood pressure, these are the stuff that will bring down your pressure.
Fresh food. Other place, most you get is canned food. And I never did like canned food. Most of the organic food here. And they don't use no poly fertilizer and chemical to put to the plant. Because I never see them spray the plant or nothing.
It was growing food for the development of people's health. And that was the physical part. I didn't know that having urban agriculture in a community could connect people of different class and people of different race and of different genders. They can enjoy food, they can enjoy recipes, they can enjoy beauty together. The farmers market brings the wealthy, the middle class, and the poor together to talk about food. So does the garden. That's a benefit that if you told me that was going to come out of growing food, I would have never known that that was the bottom. We're going to be a good result or a special result.
That's our discussion on urban farming this evening. With this concept taking root literally across the country, you've heard tonight about what kind of impact turning rooftops into row crops can have for people in need. During the Second World War, when food was scarce, many Americans planted victory gardens. After the war, their popularity faded as the American culture raced toward the 21st century on a diet of fast food. Well, now we've learned maybe those gardens, those victory gardens, weren't such a bad idea after all. Today, urban farms mean so many things, but in a bad economic recession like we're now living through, they mean real sustenance for those thousands of families in need. All across the country, the community farms are looking for volunteers to lend a hand. Something to think about in this land of plenty. And that's our program for tonight. For HDNet, from a rooftop farm high above Brooklyn, New York, Dan Rather reporting. Good night. If you would like to add your name to an email list for information on upcoming programs, or if you would just like to send a question or comment, please email us at viewer@hd.net.